Hey, my loves! Welcome back to Sensational Sense, where I help you glow up from the inside out. If you're not already a part of this glorious community of sensational ladies, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button and join Notification Gang by hitting the bell so that you can level up from the inside out today and always. So today's message, ladies, is about why you should never, ever, 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 I could say so many evers, be a man or anybody's placeholder. To start this video, I think it's important to define what a placeholder is for those who don't know. So, the dictionary definition from Merriam-Webster is a person or thing that occupies the position or place of another person or thing. Sort of like a stand-in. So, essentially, the placeholder girlfriend is the she's good enough for now girlfriend. The bench warmer while he waits for the woman he knows is his wife. Now, I know that sounds really harsh, and you know I'm all about uplifting ladies on this channel, but the truth is, being a placeholder leads to a very harsh reality 9 times out of 10. And that's why I think it's better to hear the harsh truth now than waste 10 years of your life with a man who's seeing how it goes and then watching him marry the woman of his dreams in 1 year. So buckle up, ladies. We're diving deep on this one. Now, because all the sensational girlies know that being sensational is about having empathy, I think it's important to outline why some women become placeholders in the first place. Because most of us would think, I would never do that, right? Wrong. Now, the two main reasons I observe, or should I say the two things that make a woman more vulnerable to being a placeholder, are low self-esteem and naivety. Sometimes a combination of both. As far as low self-esteem is concerned, usually a woman who doesn't quite know her worth or doesn't believe that she's worthy of what she really wants is likely to put up with a wishy-washy man who she pours into, invests time into, invests money into in some cases, and even gives her body to on the whim and the hope that he's just shy, he finds it hard to express his emotions, he'll come round one day and he'll realize everything I do for him. So women who have low self-esteem tend to struggle with setting boundaries, and they also tend to worry about people walking away from them. So they're more likely to be vulnerable to becoming a placeholder because they are not going to advocate for themselves and they are not going to walk away when they see subpar behavior. I also mentioned naivety as a placeholder risk factor, and it's true. Women are socialized to believe that being agreeable in every situation is what's going to get them what they want. We are socialized to believe that if we love somebody hard enough, if we're really accommodating to someone, if we're really sacrificial, we will be able to change that person and we will get what we want in return. Some women naively believe that being super accommodating to a man, always being on the end of a phone, and always giving him access to you guarantees them a spot in his future. And while it may guarantee you a few years of doing everything for him and being his trusty right hand, it does not guarantee that that man will ever love you beyond what you can do for him. And remember, the high vibrational love that we want is when people love us for who we are and not the service we provide. A couple of other mindsets that put women at risk of becoming placeholders are desperation. Perhaps a woman is feeling insecure about her age or her looks, and she feels that having half a man is better than having no man at all. And also, unfortunately, I would even say culture. If all your friends have been dating their boyfriend for the last 7 years, you might start to think that that's normal. And you might not get inquisitive when a man is very comfortable to use years and years of a woman's life without actually putting an official label on what the relationship is. So be aware of these things to avoid becoming a placeholder yourself. The harsh reality is, ladies, it does not take a man 7 years to figure out that you are his wife. It doesn't take him 5 years, and it doesn't take him 10 years. Now, this isn't a reason to feel bad about yourself or beat yourself up. Just because someone doesn't see your value doesn't mean it's not there. It simply means you need to cut your losses and stop wasting your time, because the man you're with is wasting your time. And by sticking around, you're helping him waste it too. If he wanted to, he would. And the sooner you realize that and wake up from the placeholder haze, you will start to thrive and actually find someone who is invested in you, locked in, and who knows that you are the person that they have been desiring. So here go my tips on how to make sure that you are never a placeholder, or to make sure you're never a placeholder again if you've been one in the past. Number 1, build your self-esteem. Ladies who truly love themselves, and I don't mean that in the superficial shout it from the rooftops way, but actually in a way of loving yourself, knowing your flaws, loving yourself despite your weaknesses, your quirks, your imperfections, truly loving yourself from the inside out is kryptonite to being a placeholder. Because ladies who love themselves do not settle for breadcrumbs, and they do not have this wishful thinking complex that convinces themselves that the reason somebody hasn't progressed a relationship is because they're confused. Ladies who love themselves know how to walk away, and they know what they deserve. So, to make sure that you are someone who loves yourself, check out my video on 5 tips to love yourself, aka how to be your own Valentine, and check out my video on how to change your self-concept, because these 2 videos will really help you to glow up and see yourself in a different light. And once you do, you will be able to show up in a way that repels people who waste your time, because they know as well as you do that they are unserious. My second tip to avoid being a placeholder is to get clear on what you want. Because if you know what you want, you know what you don't want, and therefore you are less likely to settle for what you don't want. You see, a lot of people sleepwalk into being a placeholder because they haven't actually decided, do I want to get married? What do I want out of a relationship? How would I like to be treated? So, to learn more on how you can use your single season to get clear on what you want, watch my video about that linked in the description so that you avoid sleepwalking into a situationship just because you got carried along with the wave of what other people in society may be doing. Another tip to avoid becoming a man's placeholder is to never give energy that goes beyond the level of what your relationship is. So, if you are not a man's wife, do not act like his wife and do not give him wifely privileges. You know what I mean, ladies. If you notice that somebody is expecting you to be their emotional dumping ground, they want to have access to you sexually all the time. They want to have access to your mind, body, your laughs, your fun, your feminine energy and magic, but they're not giving you anything and it's all on their terms. That's a bad sign. And that's where you need to remember you are single until you're married. So match his energy and do not give above your station. My next tip on how to avoid being a placeholder is to have your own life. Or should I say, have your own life that you love. Now, I mention this a lot in my video about how to enjoy your single season, but essentially, when you create a life that is juicy, vibrant, and fun, and when you explore and do all the wonderful things that your heart desires, that I mention in my How to Thrive in Your 20s video, as much as you may want love and want a relationship, you will not be desperate and thirsty for it. And you will certainly not be accepting half a man because you know that your life is full as it is. Another tip to avoid being a man's placeholder is to be authentic. You see, too many women fall into the trap of molding themselves into who they think a man wants them to be. And by doing that, they actually repel that man because there's nothing there that is spicy, authentic, or real. Do not pretend to be okay with things that you are not okay with to win a man's approval. Do not pretend to be interested in things that you couldn't care less about because you think that he's interested in them. Embrace polarity. Women who are not afraid to be polarizing are very unlikely to end up in these dynamics because they are not people pleasers. And my final tip for today on how to avoid being a placeholder is to become a boundaried babe. Now, in my video about how to set boundaries, I speak about why it's really important to learn how to say that magical word, no. So many women struggle with it, and so many women meander into dynamics that serve the man that they're with way more than it serves them, only to become bitter and jaded when that man runs out of their life into the arms of another woman. So say no to being a bench warmer, and say no to anything that does not match what you have defined for yourself as your goal. And remember, being single is always better than being in a draining relationship. Now, of course, being in a loving, fulfilling relationship with a divine masculine man, that's amazing. But if it's not that, I personally say throw it away, ladies. If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably adore the videos in my Glow Up Romantically playlist and also in my Glow Up Mentally and Spiritually playlists. So make sure you check those out as well. Until the next one, mwah.